didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Only thing that's saving you is the heart of a woman. Yeah. Only thing that's saving you is the heart of a woman. Question is why I do the things I do. Answer I may never find, but I'll always choose you. Wanna give up on you, but I know I can't. I put the blame on me for giving you chance after chance. I love what you can't stand, and I try to be strong, but how much can I put your words on your life this time? And I hope you ain't lying, 'cause
welcome in. Happy Monday. Have a seat, get a beverage, some snacks, because we are getting into all these trending topics and headlines with Jill Munroe. That's me on KBLA Talk 1580. I hope you had an amazing weekend. And now you're ready to catch up on all of the topics that probably had your group chat a little lit, maybe. Listen. First of all, shout out to Summer Walker, because Summer can write a banger. Listen, that pen game is vicious. You can say what you want to say. The girl can write. And we're going to be getting into what Summer says the secret sauce is behind her incredible pen. We're going to talk about it. We are also getting into Congress pulling out receipts on Trump and Jeffrey Epstein's birthday book. Yes, you heard that right, a birthday book. Is that kind of like a slam book? We'll get into it. And we are celebrating, so to speak, the takeover. Still, West Coast, all day. We got love for others, but never forget, the sun rises in the east but sets in the west. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar for adding an Emmy to his collection. And we're going to get into a little bit of Randy Moss. He's showing what it means to be more than just cornerbacks. So, truth trophies and a little trifling. Let's get into it. Before we do, though, I like to start the night with a couple of convo starters. And first up, birthday shout-outs. Virgos are Virgoing. And happy 50th birthday to one Lorenz Tate. He of Menace to Society, Love Jones, Original Power, and Power Book 2 Ghost. I mean, if you really want to talk about it, Willie from Family Matters. Yeah, he was on Family Matters. He played like a nemesis of Eddie's. And before, the funny thing about that is before it was Eddie and Waldo, Waldo was with Willie, and they were like the bullies. This is like season 1. Random facts, kids.
Before Urkel, right?
Before, yeah. Urkel might have been on. Urkel might have been on at this point, maybe, okay, or right before. But it was during the earlier times of that. So, Lorenz Tate is still fine, booked, and busy. He hasn't aged. Well, actually, he has aged, but I don't mean that negatively. I mean, he has become more handsome as he has gotten older, right? Like, he was fine in his youth. We all grew up with hard eyes at Lorenz Tate, right? But now, as a 50-year-old man, he is distinguished. He looks really, really good, well-preserved. He's a vegan. He takes care of his health, all of the things, and it shows. So that's what I mean when I say he's aged. Like, he's doing it right. To me, he is an example of aging gracefully.
What was that poetry movie he was in again?
What, Love Jones?
Did you mention Love Jones?
I did not. Yes, I did. It was the second one. I did mention Love Jones.
That's a cult classic right there.
It is.
Not mine, but
Well, so here's the thing. Not mine either.
Wow.
Right? Like, I love the look of it. I love the way it was shot. I like the soundtrack. Why are you laughing, Andy?
I swear, Joe, sometimes your stances and opinions it's quite surprising sometimes.
Why?
I guess, stereotypes, you're a woman. Every woman loves Love Jones, and you don't.
I thought that they looked beautiful. Here's the thing. I haven't watched it in probably like 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how much it was a one watch for me. I do love that at that time period, Black romance was front and center on so many fronts. We had, The Brothers, Best Man, Love and Basketball, all of the ones, right? We had a lot of different love stories, different views and vantage points of Black love, which, interestingly enough, though the golden peak of it started about 97, 98, really Boomerang is what kicked that off for that era. Yeah, because Boomerang was a romantic comedy. The critics panned it because it was an all-black cast that were elevated and moving through life, and it truly was, a comedy about love.
Well, it was like an 8-year gap then, if that's the case.
It was, but I'm saying that was, the prequel, kind of, and then that period really kicked off and got even though this isn't a love story per se, it is a story about love and family. I saw someone mention Soul Food during that period too that came out,
Banger.
Which, kind of fits along those lines. So, well, when we come forward, we'll get into these trending topics and headlines. We got a lot on the menu tonight. All of that and more on the other side.
Is the heart of a woman.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit fvgradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431, and give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways, and not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte. Let's preserve Black land stories before they're lost forever. I want to personally invite you to be a part of something historic. As journalist in residence for the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, I've joined forces with powerhouse attorney and social justice champion George Fothery, the man who helped make history by delivering justice to the Bruce family in Manhattan Beach, securing the first known return of land unjustly taken from Black owners by a local government. That victory was monumental, but it was just the beginning. For generations, Black families have acquired land through grit, faith, and determination, only to lose it through violence, legal loopholes, forced sales, and systematic racism. What's been taken goes far beyond dirt and deeds. It's the erasure of wealth, identity, and legacy. That's why we've launched the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, a national effort to collect, protect, and preserve the stories of Black land lost before they're buried, forgotten, or erased altogether. Because there's power in telling Black stories, there is resistance in remembering, and there's justice in being seen and heard. This is where you come in. We're inviting you to be a part of this historic Black narrative archive. If you or someone you know has experienced land loss, displacement, or forced property sales, your story deserves to be heard and remembered. Your story belongs in this archive. Your truth matters not just to your family, but to our collective future. Visit blacklandloss.org today. Fill out our simple intake form and add your voice to the National Archive of Remembrance, Resilience, and Reckoning. Let's make these stories live on, not in whispers, but on the record. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So, of course, you know how this goes down. 800-920-1580 if you want to jump in to the conversation at any point. You can also jump in the YouTube chat. You know, it's a family over there. Chat gets to chatting, and we love them for it. Also, download the app. You can catch up on past episodes of this show and any other show that, you know, you might have missed. Go get into it. Check it out. All right, so let's get into these topics. First up, the VMAs were last night, and LL Cool J hosted. Shout out to him. Busta Rhymes received the Rock the Bells Visionary Award, named for LL Cool J's company. He performed with Glorilla Papoose. Papoose, why'd I say it like that? Papoose. Joyner Lucas, Spliff Star, before, you know, coming on stage to receive his award. Glorilla and Sexy Red had jokes backstage. You know, Glo posted a photo of herself and called herself Brianna. That's what Young Thug called her on the leaked jail call. And then her and Sexy Red posted a photo where Sexy Red was implying, you know, people have said that she and Young Thug are twins, his literal twins. So they were like Brianna and twin. Yeah. So, you know, Thug is on the outside at the moment, and he's talked about it. He said that he was in a low place when he was in jail, missing out, not in a good space. And, you know, you discuss things, and here we are. So he also lost his girl behind this, Whack 100, who is claiming responsibility for the leaks. He warned before this latest drop that his girlfriend was going to feel it and be embarrassed, and she was. There were some phone calls that were let out of him and another young lady, and he was talking about taking care of her and starting a family with her. Some other things, you know, typical things that you probably would expect someone that's locked down and has a great deal of time to be doing, I suppose. So, you know, heartbreak, what have you. So we'll see the resolution of that, but Thug did do an interview where he addressed some of the leaks, not all, and he shut down an interview with streamer Aiden Roth. Mariah Carey also got a VMA for the Video Vanguard Award. She shaded MTV with a "What Took You So Long" before she took the stage and performed. But a lot of people are upset that MTV did not honor Ananda Lewis, who passed away a couple of months ago, and obviously contributed it to, you know, MTV Jams for a number of years and was prominent on their platform. So, you know, people have feelings about that. And there you are. So, Breezy Bowl fans, you may have missed out on tickets at your location or didn't get in, or some little glitch happened at some of the shows. But, you know, coming on the heels of Beyonce's Renaissance movie and Taylor Swift's Eras tour and Usher dropping his concert film, Chris Brown is filming for a Breezy Bowl tour film, right? And say what you want about Breezy, but his fans will turn AMC aisles into a dance floor. They're going to turn it out for Chris Brown, and I will be excited to see it, you know? CB puts on an interesting show, so shout out to him. Now, let's get into your girl, Summer Walker. She hit the red carpet last night with a new friend. Now, we know that throughout Summer Walker's career, in addition to her hits and her pen, we have seen Summer go through a couple of baby daddies, right? There's been a couple of pregnancies during her ascension, which a lot of people felt like would be a career killer for her. And to be honest, you know, 10, 15 years ago, perhaps, maybe it would have been, but this is a new era, this is a new time, and people are much more open and flexible and patient in these matters, so to speak. So Summer is done with all of those guys, and she has a new boo. Not her type. She says sometimes you got to go against type to find the right one. So this gentleman is older, Caucasian, and, some people are saying it gives, sugar baby vibes. Who knows? She was dressed kind of in a throwback to Pam Anderson on the carpet at the VMAs. Was that last night? Yeah, I think it was last night. But in an interview on the carpet, right, Summer was asked what was the key to writing a hit song. And she was very honest, studio, a vibe, a pen, a perspective, and a trifling ninja. That's all you need, apparently. I mean, we know that she has put her heartbreak into a lot of her music and obviously experiences color, whatever you're going to write and put out there or listening to them. But I guess that's why she's on something new. Remember that movie with Sanaa Lathan and I can't remember the guy that starred into it. It was called Something New, and it was all about that, switching your perspective. So I wonder, with Summer taking this new experience, will the music change up? Are we going to hear something different? Is it going to come back in a different way for us? Please don't do that, Summer. And then I often wonder this, because I remember back in the day when Mary, as in Mary J. Blige, was kind of going through it, right, with KC. She had My Life in that era and then Share My World. And some people felt that Heartbroken Mary produce the better music, right? And I wonder, because you do sometimes when you're in a different phase of life or a different state, you're going to want to produce different types of projects, maybe. Not everyone, but maybe with music, because sometimes it tells a deeper story or it can ride out with you for a longer length of time. So you might want to slip in and out of certain situations or themes to represent a certain period, but not a prolonged thing. So I wonder if we'll see a change. Andy?
I'm glad that you brought Mary J. Blige up because, before, I'm privy to the topics or whatnot. And when I saw the tagline, I was like, I immediately thought of Mary J. Blige because I felt like her best music came from heartbreak. And generally speaking, whether it's relationship, wise or not, I feel like the best music comes from pain, comes from trauma. You think about DMX, Slippin', probably one of his hardest records. That came from pain. I don't know what it is, but those be the best records. I mean, people can relate to it.
Yeah, you pouring your emotion out in the words, in the song. I don't know. So we'll see. I mean, it doesn't mean that, the music will be bad or whatever, but what does Happy in Love Summer Walker look like musically, right? Not that she doesn't have songs that allude to that, but I'm saying, not with the toxicity and dysfunction that we know and love from her music, right? Right. She did not specifically say that this individual was her man. When asked about it, she said that they were introduced via someone recently. But she wouldn't really elaborate on the situation. Specifically, she said, mind your business. So, we will temporarily, because you let us into the group chat and we're interested, we're invested now. So you got to share a little.
My question is this. If this gentleman does her dirty, will there be any form of outrage?
I mean, here's the thing. She's been outraged from who? I guess that is the question. You saying black men?
I'm going to just say Summer Walker's supporters.
I mean, listen, fan bases are different in 2025. So perhaps, but not, I don't think, a wave of it or anything like that, because I mean, let's be real, right? Summer Walker is always the anthem for every toxic text chain, right? She's one of them. Raw, unfiltered, a little messy. That's her get down. So we've seen that play out with two baby daddies, one that she was working with musically, collectively, other baby mamas involved. So I guess it would depend on what led to the situation, but I don't think there would be too much outrage.
Sounds like you don't have too much faith in their relationship.
It's not that I don't have faith in their relationship. I don't know anything about it, and to my knowledge, he's just a special friend.
Well, considering her track record, stock doesn't really look like it's high.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say that everybody gets a chance to start over and fresh page, right? That's what happened before, until proven otherwise.
I don't think this counts as a relationship.
It's probably just good times, fun,
it's good times.
hanging out.
Get your bag, Summer Walker.
You said get your back?
Get your bag.
Oh, get your bag.
Mm-hmm. Salute.
How do we know there's a bag attached to it?
Come on now. We see the images.
We see the images, but how do we know there's a bag attached to it?
Come on now.
Could be.
Maybe. Not in a negative way. Just, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
Do your thug thizzle. Salute. I'll pop your collar.
Every woman deserves to be treated and enjoy the soft life for a little bit. And every man enjoys to have a woman that enjoys giving them a soft existence as well. Y'all happy? Because I know y'all were going to complain, right? Okay. So moving on for that, shout out to Summer Walker. Shout out for, Toxic Love, creating some of the best R&B ever. And, whatever else. Look, speaking of, right? Well, no, this isn't about toxic love, actually. I'm just backpedaling because I forgot to mention this, and I feel like it's important. The Basketball Hall of Fame took place over the weekend as well. Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, Sue Bird, Maya Moore. Shout out to Maya Moore. There are not many people that would do the activist work that she did, give up their career at the height of it. She did the famous Jordan pose, Jordan and all of his rings. She recreated it, but she did it with both hands. And, Maya's won, I think, pretty much at every level. Right? Olympics. Also, she had the Minnesota Lynx looking like a dynasty. Well, what consults a dynasty? At least 3 wins, right? Is that what we start saying? Dynasty, 3 wins in a short period of time? What's considered a dynasty?
I say 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5?
3 out of 5 for sure.
Okay. So they definitely were on their way to something. Also, Sylvia Folks, who I feel like she was in the same draft with Candace Parker. I think I believe she played at LSU, and then I can't remember which WNBA team. I just remember her because I was like heavy into women's college and the WNBA kind of at that point watching. I think that was Nike time, probably why. But shout out to all of them. The 2008 U.S. men's Olympic team, the Redeem team, were added in. So LeBron James will be a 2-time Hall of Famer, but LeBron James is now officially in the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame.
Can we acknowledge that everybody on that team got an orange jacket because of Kobe beating Bryant?
I mean, that is facts. Kobe did. But I feel as though, did you watch the documentary that they put on Netflix about that?
I sure did.
And I feel like they acknowledged that in there.
They sure did.
So,
I'm just saying, some of them individuals would have not had an orange jacket.
I mean,
if it wasn't for Kobe Bryant.
Here's the thing. A lot of those, and there are some people on the team that's like, wow, he's really a Pro Basketball Hall of Famer just because he lucked up and slipped onto that Olympic team.
Shout out Michael Redd.
Facts.
And I rock with him. He's a dope player.
I mean, he was one of those. He had a steady 3-point shot. He was a solid player.
He was dope.
But nobody's thinking of him. Nobody's like, yeah, I've had him in my game right after Michael Redd. Not like that. No, I'm not saying that disrespectfully. I'm sure somebody in his hometown did. I'm just saying. Y'all feel me. You know what I mean by that. All right, and before we get into these other topics, Royal Jenkins agrees with you, Andy. He said Kobe set the tone. Kobe always set the tone. Shout out to one Kobe Bean Bryant, right? I want to give shout outs, acknowledgement, love to Randy Moss's way. He recently rung the bell for completing his cancer treatment. You know, he had bile duct cancer, went through treatment, and he was back on ESPN Sunday NFL Countdown yesterday saying cancer is in remission. So really want to, give him a little love, a little praise. And, like we say frequently on the show, all of us take care of your health, but Black men, take care of your health. Black women, take care of your health. Be diligent about it. Be serious about it, especially in these times, because environmental health, the outside factors, are impacting all of us too. So shout out to that. A couple more chat. Royal Jenkins says, Whack 100 is always into something. He is. He is, but we're in a new era of podcast bros, chatty patty isms is okay. Like, it is always ironic to me that Dame Dash will openly, blatantly call somebody else a chatty patty as he sits there and chats his patty in regards to whatever he feels like it. Again, not wrong, but he tries to make the distinction. Well, no, I speak of it this way. And there are times when you can draw that line in the sand, but they're not really those times with Dame. All praises due, all respect. We know what Dame did, but it is kind of sad and disheartening when you see him with the teeth situation, talking about he just had his eye surgery. Dame is fairly young. Again, Black men, take care of your health, announcing his bankruptcy and so forth. It's like you want to get it together because you were so impactful at that time. You want to see him win currently. Will it happen? Who knows? Listen, when we come forward, more trending topics and headlines.
I don't need it. Got $100 grand in my ashtray. Spend $100K on a bad day. And I'm tatted like a cholo. Act crazy, my dogs go loco. Got me moving slow-mo. With my problem, that's my bro. Came in through the back door. 10 mil this year on a low. And I'm still smoking pre-rolls. Cristal dump with the Clico. And my bank full of zeros. Young Wizzle get fly like a hero. Worry about a hate, not me. Turn to the max, no slick cat. Smoke the 100 to the face, give a fuck with a man. Say everything about me.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black New York City Mayor Eric Adams is avoiding questions about the mayoral race after vowing not to drop out.
Next question.
Mr. Mayor. Reports say President Trump wants him and Curtis Lewa to step aside for Andrew Cuomo against frontrunners Aram Mamdani. Rapper Young Thug is apologizing to his partner Mariah the Scientist after leaked jail calls revealed he was unfaithful. The rapper admitted this mistake in a post on X, saying he'll do anything to save their relationship. Mariah has not publicly responded, leaving their current status unclear. And the Los Angeles Police Department is no longer providing security for former Vice President Kamala Harris. Officers had been assigned to her after President Trump revoked her Secret Service protection, but the move drew backlash. Critics say police were diverted from crime suppression, and the police union argued Harris, who's a millionaire, could pay for private security herself. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Sepulveda Pass remains a terrible drive south 405. Only the carpool lane is open coming up on Getty Center. Delays off of the 101. This is due to an ongoing investigation after an earlier crash. Eagle Rock 134 westbound before the 2. Carpool lanes blocked due to a wreck with a backup away from Figueroa. Also out to Industry on the 60 west connector to the north 605. That's a crash. It's off to the shoulder now. Delays all the way. Looks like it's pretty slow moving coming off of 7th.
San Diego's events calendar is full of flavor. Dig into local wine and food festivals, treat the family to kid-inspired deals all October, and get a taste of glory at the Breeders' Cup World Championship. Plan your trip now at sandiego.org/awesome all year. Funded in part with City of San Diego Tourism Marketing District Assessment Funds.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The NFL will close the first week of the regular season with a diversity milestone that should go in the NFL record books. 16 of the 32 NFL teams had a black quarterback in their starting lineup. That's the highest number of black quarterbacks starting a season, number 1 on the depth chart. One of those 16 is former USC quarterback Caleb Williams. You will see Williams leading the Chicago Bears against Minnesota in tonight's Monday Night Football game. The other 15, Spencer Rattler of New Orleans, Kyler Murray of Arizona, Dak Prescott of Dallas, Lamar Jackson of Baltimore, Patrick Mahomes of Kansas City, Jalen Hurts of Philadelphia, Geno Smith of the Las Vegas Raiders, Russell Wilson of the New York Giants, Justin Fields of the New York Jets, Michael Penix of Atlanta, Jordan Love of Green Bay, rookie Cam Ward of Tennessee, and Bryce Young of Carolina. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready?
Drop it!
Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Attorney advertising prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent, and the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember,
No warrant, no key. My privacy. You don't have to speak. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got rights.
Hey, we all got rights.
Are you ready to be a part of the conversation that will help shape our nation's future? Get ready to join us for the Left Coast Forum, Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech, where progressive voices will come together to tackle the issues that matter most to working families across Los Angeles and beyond. From economic justice to climate action, from healthcare to housing, we're bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates for real solutions and real change. With workshops, 2 major keynote addresses, and a closing reception with great music and good food. It's the Left Coast Forum, where your voice matters and your ideas take action. Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the LA Progressive. The future won't wait, and neither should you. Mark your calendar now to be there and be heard. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I never cared too much for love. weight was everything. But I'm not every girl, and I don't need that world to validate me. 'Cause shorty got a job, shorty got a car, shorty can pay her own rent. Don't wanna dance if it is not in my line. My stuff when I'm mad with the bling bling. Got my own thing, got the chain ching. I just want real love.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Happy birthday, Pink. She of the aerial performances and stuff. I'm going to tell you, her first single, There You Go, that was my bop. In the video, the swag, everything. I know she doesn't like her R&B era. She wasn't into the music. It wasn't really for her. It was what L.A. Reid thought the best route for her was, and she tried it. To her credit, it worked. And when she could, she went to do what she loved. Now, I don't think of that in the same way that I think of like Miley or Post Malone or some of the others. Because, we have had a frequency of, shall we say, pop artists getting into their R&B hip hop era. Their bad, when they have their bad boy or bad girl rebel time, that's usually when it pops up. But I don't feel like for her it was really that type of thing.
I agree with you on that. Although she did lose a fan, it probably was.
Oh, when she left the.
I was rocking with the R&B. There You Go, this Most Girls record. I was like, yo, this is fire. But then when she switched up, I was like, she lost me. But I can understand if this wasn't her thing. Completely understood. But I will say when she did do it, though, I feel like she gave honor and respect to the genre. Like you said, I don't think she was like, oh, this is a phase of mine or whatever. She did it justice.
Yeah, so shout out to her for that. And, she of aerial performances, and now everybody's up in the air being strung up with stuff. And, yeah, sometimes it looks scary. Okay, so listen. It's finally happened. On Monday, members of the House Oversight Committee confirmed that they finally got their hands on Jeffrey Epstein's infamous 50th birthday book. It's from 2003. And in those pages was a signed note from none other than Donald Trump. The same note Trump has spent years swearing it doesn't exist, right? And Representative Robert Garcia, the ranking Democrat on the committee, said pretty plainly, President Trump called the Epstein investigation a hoax and claimed that his birthday note didn't exist. Now we know Donald Trump was lying and is doing everything he can to cover up the truth. Enough of the games and lies. Release the full files. So we'll see if that happens. It's not just about the birthday book. It's about who is given power, who those players are, and the lengths that people will go to keep that information from becoming public. It's been years that people have spent dodging this, and Trump's signature being inside that book, does it mean anything in the grand scheme of things? No, right? I'm sure we have all had, and again, this isn't in defense of, just an observation and providing context. We've all been friends with somebody who you like, that so-and-so is crazy, but you cool. You might bump into them at an event. You might even invite them to something like a party or something that was large because they're entertaining. You like to watch them spiral, right? Not that you should do that, but does that mean, you guys are close? I don't know. In this instance, Trump said on the note that was in the shape of a woman's figure that they were a lot alike. So I'm going to go with probably, but we'll have to see. Andy?
The thing that kills me with this whole Epstein file stuff is court of public opinion already believes some of the names already in those files, right? So even if they release it and you get that confirmation, what now?
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like we already watching the issue. I say this several times. We're already watching the issue happen like in our faces every single day. And we're over clamoring to release the Epstein files, but we already have a strong feeling of whose names are in those files.
I mean,
once again.
Well, here's the thing, though. My one thing I'll say about that, right, is we have ideas, but there is something about certainty. Now, again, are we going to do anything but discuss it and, kiki about it? I don't know. But there is something about the clarity, because just like when you think about back to the freak-offs and the Diddy party, when everybody was like, TD Jakes, Oprah, Diddy, and a lamb were in there doing a freaky thing, standing on their head. And it turned out that it was just escorts, Diddy, Cassie, and Jane Doe. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. For me, I feel like if the victims feel like that is a way that they can get justice and they want to get that off, that is something totally different.
I respect that.
So, but otherwise, we got a caller on the line, Eric from Carson. Eric, what's going on your mind? What's going on your mind? What's going on? What's on your mind this evening?
Hey, happy Monday, Jill.
Happy Monday.
I wanted to make a quick positive comment and a quick negative comment. And so the positive comment is Love Jones was one of my favorite movies. It wasn't in my top 3, but the reason I loved the movie was because it's about hanging with, being in love with the one, hanging with a group of friends, and 2 career-driven young black people. So I've watched that movie. I've watched it over and over like I do when I like movies. So that's my comment about that. And as far as Trump is concerned, I'll say this about our president. Birds of a feather flock together. And I saw a caption. I'm interested in this, so it pops up on my email every day giving me updates. And one of my best homies when I was younger, if you wanted to know what I was doing, you would just look at what he was doing, because that was my boy. And so to me, if somebody is your best friend, if somebody you associate with, then you have a similar type of interest, your personality, your character. Trump and Epstein on this picture, they look like they were good-looking guys. They just looked like they were tight. And I'll stop right there.
So Love Jones, everybody's entitled to like what they like. It's no critique, it's subjective. I agree with you on the concept and the premise of it. It just, as a story, as a film in that manner, didn't care for it. Now, to the other topic, I feel like we knew this when the Billy Bush audio came out. We knew this from the Miss, was it America, that he used to sponsor pageant, from the creepy stuff he used to do. Heck, we know this by some of his own admissions from just the stories that people were allowed to, prior to, brag about, things that were, seen as okay. So none of it is really shocking or surprising, but I do think if there are individuals whose names have been attached to this that are not involved, right? I feel for those type of people. I'm not saying that Trump is obviously one of them, but I feel for that circumstance. But overall, there's no surprises for me in this situation, right?
I think...
Go ahead.
I think that this list must, with a capital M, remain sealed, because we would be, as a society, we would be very disillusioned with the names that would be on that list. So I as much as I hate to say this, I think that because this is the President of the United States, it just cannot be, the names can't be released. It just can't happen.
Why can we not? We've talked about JFK running Marilyn Monroe in and out of the White House for years. We've talked about things that happened with Giuliani and what's the other mayor in New York? Can't remember his name. We've talked about all types of scandals and relationships and things that have happened. We've talked about J. Edgar Hoover being confused and wearing pantyhose, while he was in a position of power. So why can we not speak to this. This man has been convicted of certain things. Do you see the state that our country is in? What is it going to make us delusioned about? They opened the files. We know UFOs are real. I mean, what are we saying here? Do you know what I mean? What are we really saying here?
I think what we're saying is this. I wasn't around for some of those stories, but I am confident that they didn't come out when JFK, I bet they weren't talking about JFK and Marilyn Monroe when he was the president of the United States.
How were they not? She came out and sang happy birthday to him all breathlessly, and it was all of the way. It was all of the scandal. So here's the thing. Did they have the means like we do, social media, to utilize? No, but to think that it wasn't discussed, gossip, conversation, right? Observations have always existed, and people are going to comment on those that are powerful and popular, no matter what. But I think the thing here is that these are people that are in power. We've talked about Martin Luther King and what he may not have done, right? And this is someone we revere. This is someone who we look to as far as values. And even he was caught up in a twist and doing some things, right?
I think I can win you over with one last comment.
You can't, but go ahead.
There is nothing more pathetic and nothing more disgusting than someone who would sleep with a minor. That's what our society says is the truth. Not having an affair. I'm talking about this
Says
is
the
worst thing you can do. Excuse me?
Says the Drake fan.
Thank you.
Continue, Eric.
I will. Yeah, I'm just going to wrap up and say.
But so let me ask you this. So then if you feel that way, then how can you think, like one of the girls that talked about potentially starting her own list, she spoke out, I think it was early last week, mentioned that her time traveling around and showing up and her getting pushed out of the life, so to speak, was because she was told that she got too old. She was doing this from the ages of 14 to 17. Now, you can question where were her parents and all of that. That's a separate conversation. But think about 14 to 18 years old. You don't want to know about that? You don't want to know which of your leaders was involved in behavior like that? I'm not talking about dating. I'm not even talking about dating young. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be honest. Do I always agree with it? Not necessarily, but if the person is 18, I kind of don't care. That's your business between two people. I'm not getting into all of that. But the things, again, I'm not pushing for the release of the files. However, I do understand if some of your elected officials are doing that type of stuff, we're not just talking about, I'm partying with people that are of age. We're talking about specific targets for young ladies that were young. When we come forward, we'll get Eric's response to this.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm LA City Councilmember Curran Price, inviting you to the 30th anniversary of the Central Avenue Jazz Festival, Saturday, September the 20th, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. We've got 4 pavilions, 3 stages of live music, plus food, fun, and a marketplace all along historic Central Avenue between MLK Boulevard and Vernon Ave. Our featured acts this year are Gregory Porter, Pancho Sanchez, and Jasmine Horn at the 30th anniversary of the Central Avenue Jazz Festival, Saturday, September 20th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. along Central Avenue between MLK Boulevard and Vernon Avenue. Come out and bring the whole family because this legendary celebration is free. For more information, go to centralavjazzfest.com. I'm LA Councilmember Curran Price, and I absolutely approve this message.
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent, and the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember,
No warrant, no key. You don't have to speak. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got rights.
Hey, we all got rights. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So we had a caller on the line, Eric from Carson, and Eric was just going to explain why he feels like, what is it now? The files don't need to be released. We need to be protected, our fragile minds. Something along those lines. Go ahead, Eric.
I want to say that Andy, I'm going to take a page out of Andy's book. Andy does a good job of giving non-opinionated comments, usually fact-based. That's what I get from him. And so I'm going to try to steer away from my personal opinion and just say that I don't believe that Epstein took his own life. When you're dealing with powerful people, you got to be careful. And I'm going to say that the other people who are on this list are more significant than Trump. And I think we just have to think about, they're going to come out one day, but does it need to be right now? And I'm just going to leave a big old question mark, because I'm going to leave a question mark.
Well, we appreciate your call as always, Eric. Thank you for locking in. Well, listen, the book is now officially evidence, and Congress is demanding the full files to be released. It's only going to get messier, and, we'll stay tuned for the receipts so that we can discuss, as always. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. He is stacking up in history. His Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show just won a Creative Arts Emmy. That means that Kendrick now has 17 Grammys, a Pulitzer Prize, and an Emmy. All he needs now is a Tony and an Oscar for EGOT status. The halftime show, it said a lot. It caused a lot of conversation. We know that there's a current court case going on related to some of the music featured in that, and Kendrick just ended a successful tour. What's next? That was my dramatic pause, just because we know Kendrick isn't one to rush music, rush putting things out. I just wonder what his next move will be and when. I think he opened a creative agency as well.
Just relax.
Yeah.
I think in a lot of ways, the whole situation with him and Drake, at least in my opinion, was a cultural shift in hip hop. It definitely brought back lyricism, because I don't hear too much mumble rap going on today. But at the same time, I just think this also gave an opportunity for the OGs to kind of step up right now. The OGs are dropping music like it's nothing.
They are.
So,
I mean, what a time to be alive.
Absolutely.
In theory, if you're a Gen Xer, you've had in the past year or so, LL, Ice Cube, Nas. Who else has dropped? Clips, Snoop and Dre together.
Will Smith. I
mean, and here's the thing, whether you are interested in some of those or not, I think the idea that 50-year-old rappers can exist is an incredible thing, right? Now, maybe not so much for those. Are there even SoundCloud rappers anymore at this time period?
Does SoundCloud even exist?
I don't even know, but you get my point. You know, we've seen the people that pop out at 40, 45, 50, like, hey, I'm a rap now. And they got a hope and a dream, and now they have representatives that they can put an eye on and say, maybe I can do that too. Now, what would be interesting, what we haven't seen, we've seen novelty hits, but we haven't seen a new older rap artist. I'm kind of curious and waiting to see if something like that could happen.
That's where people start talking about how hip hop is a young man's game.
Right.
I just don't know how you can come into the game at 50 years old, 45, 40 in the game, and be influential. I just don't know.
I mean, I feel like there's a way. Now, do I know what that way is? But I just feel like 50 is different, right? Now, in 2025, your 40s and 50s are different. It's not the same way that it was 20 or 30 years ago. People look different. There's different outlets for them to engage in. I just saw something about Cheryl Underwood at Doolin's for a speed dating thing. I don't know if that would be my cup of tea, but my point is, you know, people are redating. We have the later daters on Netflix and things like that. People of a certain age go to lounges. It might be a different type of hip hop, but there is a lane for that. And is it just old school throwback artists? Do you know what I'm saying? People are doing a lot of different things at advanced ages now. So we'll have to see. Listen, you know where to find me each and every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I come with tea, shade, and receipts. And you love it. Check me out at JillMunroe.com. Sign up for my newsletter, RSVP for credentials.com. And make sure you're back here tomorrow, 6 to 7 p.m. to hit more of these trending topics. Coming up next, all the logic, all the reasoning, all the heat. Zoe Williams, the voice of reason.
They talking about nothing, huh? They ain't talking about nothing. Alright, what they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing, huh? They ain't talking about nothing. Pickable, I just put them bookers in my chain. Pickable, 80 pointers like a Kobe game. Pickable, 7.62s I make them plank. Pickable, popping out, you better not smell my name. Pickable, put 2 foreigns on the 405. Pickable, Kashi Pepper, if I'm doing pasta. Pickable, why you acting tough on IG Live?